Okay, so these are the bumper shims we're going to put on the Tundra today. I have 4 of these. We're going to stack 2 of them together, and that's going to give a 1/2 inch spacing to push that bumper out further, to clear the bigger tires. It's a nice solid steel plate. It's going to fit in there very nicely and give us the room we need for those large tires. Okay, so I just finished installing the bumper shims on my front bumper on my 2019 Tundra. I did not show you a complete video of this whole entire thing because this is pretty simple. I'll tell you how I did it, but anybody can do this. It's pretty easy. So we're going to be getting ready for the larger tires here pretty soon. I've been procrastinating. I've been trying to figure out what I want to do for wheels and tires. I think I've got something figured out. Haven't got them on yet, but I wanted to get the bumper ready, pushed out, so I didn't have to cut any plastics on this. I see a lot of guys that when they put big tires on, they're going to come in here, they're going to cut all this out and everything, and it just looks like total trash to me. They take off all these flaps and everything, and it looks terrible. As you can see, this is all intact. This all looks original. I still have my mud flap on here now. I might have to take that off when I put the larger tires on. I don't know. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. So, if you can see, here's where the fender was. You can see it's pushed out a little bit. This bumper was flush with this, but now you can see there's just a little gap there, but nobody's ever going to see that. Everything else is perfect. Coming around the other side. Maybe you can see it a little better here on this side. You see, it's just pushed forward just about a 1/2 inch, but you can't tell. Nobody's ever going to see it, and that will avoid having to cut all this plastic out for the large tires. I'm not doing that. I'm going to keep it all original. So I'll basically show you what this is here. All right. So coming down underneath here, see if you can get a good look at this. Alright, so there's 1 bolt here, and there's 3 bolts on this side, okay, and here are the 2 shims. They're 2 1/4 inch shims. They go right there, providing a 1/2 inch space. So what I did was I took all 4 bolts out of this side, I took 3 bolts completely off the other side, and then loosened the last one to the last thread, and that allowed me to pull this out enough to where I could stick 1 spacer in at a time. It gave me enough room between the stud and the bumper. So I pulled it out, stuck 1 plate in, put the other plate up there, put the other plate in, and then I did the same thing to the other side. You know, I started 1 nut here, and then I took the other nuts off, completely off the other side, and did the same thing with the plates, and I tightened it up. It only tightens up with 1 position. There was no adjusting it. There was no doing anything fancy. Just tighten it back up and you should be good to go. One thing I did not do, I did not take these bolts out, and you know, this bolt, I did not take any of these plastics off. It did give me a hard time when I was trying to pull it out, because there was some resistance. These plastic pieces were trying to pull the bumper back. I tell you, it would make your life a whole lot easier, if you take these bolts off. And then these 2 bolts on the inside right here, take those off, and it will make it easier to pull it out, and it won't try to spring back on you when you're trying to put them in there, and then you can put the bolts back in. I didn't do it that way, but it would have been easier. So basically that is it. So yeah, that's it for the install. Like I said, I'm getting ready for these bigger tires. I've been searching wheels and tires. I haven't been able to make up my mind on wheels. I think I'm going to keep my original wheels for now, and just put bigger tires on those. Since I've had this truck, I've only had this truck for about 6 months, and I've already put almost $8,000 worth of modifications on it. So I think I'm going to hold off the wheels right now. I do have some spacers coming. I'm going to space them out a little bit. We're going to see what it looks like. With the factory wheels, the spacers, and the tires. I'm probably going to ride on that for a little while, and then make up my mind what I want to do then with the rest of everything. One thing I'll also go over in this video, which I was going to say for another one, is when I got this truck, obviously like all trucks, the front sits low. I decided to put a level kit on it. So I got a 2.5 inch MotoFab level kit, which is, you can see this. I installed this. It's not actual 2.5 inches because it's about geometry. It's not about the thickness of the block itself. So that was a 2.5 inch front level. Everything worked out fine. The control arm's fine. The control arm still sits level. Basically, it's got a slight little drop to it, but not much. It lined up perfectly. Everything was good. So I've been on that. But when I did do that, it did raise the front up. It did actually sit level. I mean, it's set perfectly level. When I measured it from the ground to the fender, I had the same measurement in the front as I did the back. But visually, when you looked at it, the back looked like it sat low, even though it did not. So somehow visually it looked like it did, and everybody's asking me, hey, why does it sit low in the, look like it sits low in the back? And we were out measuring it, and everything all the way around was totally perfect. It looks a little odd because it's sitting in my driveway right now. My driveway slants down, and my driveway also sits at an angle this way. It's kind of, but so yeah, it sat low in the back, and I wasn't really happy with it with it looking like that. So I decided to put an 1.25 inch shim in the back to raise it up. So let's see here. So basically, I installed. Oops, sorry. I installed the 1.25 inch block in the rear with the new U-bolts, and it came with the extension brackets for the brake lines and everything. So that is what I'm running right at the current time. And there's the other one on that side. So yeah, that's what I've got now. I actually, in the garage, I wanted to bump it up a little bit further. I wanted to give it a little extra bump. So I have inside, I actually have a 3-2 lift kit that I'm going to put on here so I can go up one more tire size. So I'm going to be taking this one off, putting a 3 inch in the front, a 2 inch in the back for now, and I might do some control arms. I don't know yet, depending on how the alignment goes when I do it. And I'm going to ride on that for a while. I know spacer lifts aren't the best thing in the world. You know, people call them trash, junk. Yeah, I agree with you. If you're going to take a truck off road, you don't want to have a spacer lift. Riding down the road is fine. There's no problems with them. So anybody that wants to do a spacer lift, you know, people talk trash about them, but if you're going to keep it on the road, they're fine. The suspension I'm actually looking at is the old man Emu suspension, and the one I want is almost $5,000. But like I say, I just put about $8,000 into this truck in the last 6 months, so I'm gonna hold off for a little while. The tires, once the tires get here, that's gonna put me probably about $9,500 worth of modification on the truck in the last 6 months. So I'm just gonna ride with this for now. Once I save some money, I'm going to put the real deal suspension on it, and we'll see what happens then. But stay tuned for the next video. The wheel spacer should be coming in pretty soon. I should have the tires on in the next couple weeks. Hopefully I can shoot a video for that, and we'll see what it looks like then.